Oh, I think we're online.
I think so.
Yes, sir. Hello, Ron.
Yes.
Hi, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Uh, very, very well. Very well. Uh, Today, I believe we're going to talk about the great music that came out in 1981 from
That's correct.
prog to pop, from metal to jazz, all of it.
All of it. Anything we can think of.
Yes, sir.
And it looks like it's going to be us. It's going to be us today,
Mm-hmm.
solo, like we did back in January.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Um, so I'm going to let you start up with your first one.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, my first album that I'm going to discuss about is classic of classics, Rush, Moving Pictures. Uh, this may be the most important album
Yes.
of my musical life. Back in the late 70s, I was discovering rock music on the radio. Uh, Being an only child with parents listening mostly to Henry Mancini, Frank Sinatra, Cole Porter, and classical
Right.
music, I wasn't aware much about the music kids my age were listening.
Right.
And as I was discovering modern rock, I noticed I had a penchant for the more elaborate musical styles known as, prog rock. So, along with the Genesis, Pink Floyd, and Yes, there was this Canadian trio called Rush that I simply adored. My very first LP I ever bought was A Farewell to King from 1977, but their 1981 release, Moving Pictures, boy, oh boy, that was on another level. Uh, one
Oh
of
yeah.
one of the very first concert I ever bought a ticket for was their show at the Montreal Forum in March 1981. Uh, I paid $10 for that ticket.
Oh yeah. Back
Later,
back in the day.
yeah, that's true. Later that year, I even went to Florida to see the band at the Hollywood Sportatorium for one of their legendary shows, the infamous Riot Show. I won a contest at the local radio station, Show FM, and I even kept my ticket, which I still have. Uh,
Oh, that's cool.
Very, very cool. Oops, sorry, that's upside down. Hollywood Sportatorium, front row center. Yes, sir. And years later, I started going to prog rock festival in the United States and even organizing some shows with great renowned prog musicians. Uh, Rush really shaped my life in some ways. Moving Pictures is one of those legendary albums
Right.
recorded at Le Studio in Morin Heights, Quebec. Again, produced by Terry Brown. The guy had a real knack to get the best out of Rush, that's for
Oh,
sure. Uh,
oh,
it was at the time exactly what I liked the most in Prague. That's
right.
it. So the album itself, I mean, you've got Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta, YYZ, Limelight, The Camera Eye,
Oh, yeah.
Witch Hunt, Vital Signs. Every single track on this album was fantastic.
Oh,
No
yes. That's
no filler stuff at all. If I were to make a top 20 of my favorite prog rock albums, this one would most probably fit in the top five.
hmm. Yeah. I got it. I got into Rush almost, I want to say by accident. A friend of mine bought me the cassette of the the album previous, uh,
Permanent Waves.
and he got it on my birthday. that's the year that Permanent Waves was released. And I didn't understand why he got it from me. And it
Mhm.
was maybe a few years later when I started going backwards and checking out what they had. And I was like going, okay, I see where he was, why he would gave me this cassette. Because at first I listened to it and it was like, it was like at a different, like you're saying with moving pictures, for me, it was like on a different stratosphere. I mean, just like I didn't realize music could be like that. I mean, so, but yeah, Rush is one of those bands um, that are just simply amazing. I mean, and I'm sad that I never got to see the original trio. Um, uh, Judging by some of uh, the prices that I heard of the reunion type tour, I probably won't be seeing them. Hopefully, they'll record their shows and then pick the best one and put it out on Blu-ray for us less fortunate.
Mm,
Well, I'm gonna start off with my list. Um, Camel Nude.
lovely album.
This is a concept album about a maroon Japanese soldier who doesn't realize that the war is over, and it was based on a true story. Um, Most of it is instrumental, but they have a couple of vocal tracks. Um, I was reading it's the last feature original drummer Andy Ward. And I think it was really, I mean, the last like Camel album. It just seems like after that, it seemed kind of much like, like some bands that carry on with just one member. It's them just using the moniker. It's not. I mean, not saying that it's bad music. It's not really Camel after that. So, and it has a bridge with the 70s to the 80s. You hear a lot of 70s sound to it, but then you also hear a lot of, forward thinking 80s stuff going on. Songs are a little shorter, more concise, but still progressive. And and it's since it's a concept album, it's one of those things you can't just listen to some of the songs. You gotta sit down there for I don't know how long it is, but 45 or so minutes and just listen to it. Um, they did have a new box set that came out 3 years ago, and I missed it. And now on they're asking for hundreds and hundreds of dollars for it. But it has all the Camel albums and remastered and everything. Maybe one day it'll come down in price. I kind of doubt it, but in the meantime, if you get they did some remasters, I think in the early 2000s. It sounds great. I mean, I listen to it in the car, you know, just so I can see how it sounds in a car. I would kind of recommend this one if you want to listen to it. Put on headphones and just sit back. And if you have your favorite beverage, and just enjoy.
True. That's absolutely true. My first experience with Camel was seeing them at Nearfest in Trenton in 2003. It was absolutely unforgettable, powerful and utterly poignant. Andy's guitar solo on Ice just gave me goosebumps. That's
Oh yeah,
great music
he's
does.
very he's a very underrated guitarist. You know, when they always list talk about the prog guitar players, they always seem to leave him out for the most part.
Hmm.
I saw him the previous year and in West Hollywood, and the Flower Kings opened for them. So I mean that was a fun show,
Most
and
definitely.
that was the first time I saw him live. But you maybe almost 10 years earlier, there was this one record store in Southern California called Round Sounds, and it was just this little tiny record shop, and the guy would, if you're looking through the CDs and anything you're looking at, and he goes, "Oh, you want to listen to it?" He would put it on the player, and he put on Mirage, and that's what sold it
Hmm.
for that band. I mean, when I heard that, I was like going, "This is really good.
Oh, yes.
I need, I need more of this band."
True. That's absolutely true. Fantastic stuff.
But so that's my first one.
All right. Uh, okay. Now, I'm going to discuss about a really cool pop album. It's The Police, uh, Ghost in the Machine. It's the fourth album of this great British trio. And again, some of the songs were recorded at Le Studio in Morin Heights, Quebec City. A lot of great music that era came out of that recording studio. I believe the engineer was Steve Perry, really good technician and audio engineer. Uh, Ghost in the Machine features great songs like Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, Spirit in the Material World, and Invisible Sun. Uh, they really sound good. Ghost in the Machine had more energy and intensity than previous albums, a bit less of the reggae riffs and more straight on pop rock. It's a more mature, evolved sound. It had superb production, catchy tunes, new original themes. They had a good recipe, even though the band didn't mesh together very well at
Yeah,
that time. They still had the magic.
right. Oh yeah, I knew all the hits, and then maybe a few years ago, I bought that. There's a police box set, and that comes with a like a little bonus CD with all these other songs, like stuff that they recorded before their first album, where it
Mhm,
was like right there on the line with punk rock of the day. I
mhm.
mean, just fast, furious, just aggressive, but it was just it had a polish if it had a polished touch to it, but at the same time it it was had a little bit of anarchy to it. It's like, but just to hear them, I mean, it was, I mean, I forget the name of the song, but it's like not even 2.5 minutes, and they're just pounded right through, and vocals, guitar, drums going as aggressive as possible, and it's so funny. You hear that song, and then you go and hear some of the later hits before they broke up. It was like night and day, and so it's a really interesting band. I mean, I'm sad that they broke up, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad because they left at a high note.
True.
I
Absolutely true.
I I think some bands really need to know when to say we did it. We got to the point that we want to get to. You know, it's done.
Yeah,
Because that, then you get bands that just keep on putting out albums after albums, and they just seem to be like um, running through going through the motions. They're not really putting any effort to it.
true. It can be said of many bands these days, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. Well, my second one goes over from Germany, Eloy Planets.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Now, this is how space rock was done in the 80s. It was shorter songs. They had a couple long ones, but primarily they were around the 5 minute mark. But they did in 5 minutes what they used to do in the 70s in 15 or so minutes. and it's punchier, and it's like someone can get into them and not know that they're progressive rock because they just have like a really more on the rock side than the prog side.
Mhm.
Um, the one thing with Eloy is Frank's vocals are something you got to get used to because he's has heavily accented vocals, but I think that's the part of the charm of the band. And and this was another band that I got into from that store. And it was Ocean that they got me into it. And um, I've been buying their stuff ever since they put all their studio albums. I just absolutely love this band. A lot of great songs on there. I mean, the one that comes out that's really awesome that I like is Mysterious Monolith, and it and it lives up to the name. It has just, I mean, and the synths on this is like, oh, it's like you know that it's the 80s because it's just a thick synths going on, and I if you're into that, I mean, that's something really good you should check out.
Oh, I agree. The 1980s were the beginning of synthesizers. Every band you could imagine, from Phil Collins to Genesis to all, yes, they had synthesizers. And in particular, one model that was very popular in the early 80s was the Oberheim. Rush,
Oh yeah,
pretty
that's
much every band had it. And speaking of which, on my end, my next band I want to discuss about is uh, King Crimson, Discipline.
oh yes,
Um, the eighth album of Monsieur Bob Fripp. It has a whole different sound and a whole different lineup from previous albums, with the addition of Adrian Belew on guitars and Tony Levin on bass, with, of course, Bill Bruford, the only returning musician from previous albums. Uh, wow, a whole different sound is an understatement.
oh yeah,
That was completely new. Uh, you had the energetic Fela on Ginjit, the weird elephant talk, uh,
yeah,
the country western Mate Kudasai,
yeah,
uh, the mostly narrative Indiscipline, and
yeah,
the freaked out multi-layered instrumental title track. That was new ground in the world of music, with Robert Fripp experimenting with his crafty guitar works and
right.
creating a new and interesting yin yang with Adrian Belew, two completely opposite guitarists. Uh,
Oh yeah.
it's dynamic and really, really quirky. Uh, I love it.
Well, I was reading too, is a lot of that sound was due to Robert Fripp's involvement in the New York punk scene in the late 70s,
Mhm.
and that it wasn't supposed to be called King Crimson. Just like with Yes, they weren't supposed to be called Yes. They, you know, when they came back, it's and I think that that's what brings it. And you were saying the yin and yang. I mean, you got Robert with his, dare I say the word, his disciplined guitar playing, and Adrian with his anar anarchist guitar playing. I mean, he did not. They were like polar opposites, but they worked. I thought,
They work together wonderfully.
yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't get to. I saw them when they did that double trio, and I didn't bring earplugs, and for about 2 weeks, I was my ears were ringing. You know, um, is the time when I started having my issue with my feet, so I was walking with a cane. I brought my ex to go with me. I think it was 2002, and the usher took me from our where our seats were, let's say back here, and he brought us right up to here. So I was like stage left, and I was like going, well, this is cool. I didn't expect this kind of treatment. And but then earplugs. I needed earplugs because they were ringing afterwards.
I always have earplugs, especially on that show. Many years ago, I saw the Adrian Belew, Tony Levin double headliner show with two of a perfect trio that was called. And
Oh,
yes, I was front row, right in front of Tony Levin. Man, the sound was intense. My face was just, ripping out.
right.
But yeah, that was beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. Okay.
All right.
Do you have
My
a
next, I
do
have a
you
next one.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going for the heavy metal Ozzy Osbourne,
Hmm.
Diary of a Madman. Now, some consider this and the first album. There was a band called Blizzard of Oz. That's how it was originally supposed to be, and then management said no, it should be just Ozzy. And it, I mean, those four. I mean, you had Ozzy, of course. You had Bob Daisley, Lee Kerslake, and Randy Rhoads. Those four
Randy
were like
Rhoads.
perfect. They were perfect for each other. I mean, you couldn't get any better. I mean, songs in Flying High Again, you know, and the title track Diary of a Madman, which is kind of like I would say the epic of the album. And um, just the pure aggression of those first two albums were just absolutely perfect. And I never the I stopped buying the third album that came out, Bark at the Moon. After that, the albums they had great songs on it, but they weren't great albums. They were just I just felt they had some great songs on it. The first two, this one especially. I mean, a lot of people point to the debut where, and that's great, but this one was a little more. They kind of finally got into themselves and knew this is the band, and I often wonder what would have happened had Randy not died, if they would have continued, because there was some rumors that Randy wanted to leave anyways.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so we never know. I mean, maybe in an alternate universe, Randy stuck with him all those years, and maybe Ozzy's still alive in a different universe. Who knows?
Mhm.
I honestly think a lot of his heavy drinking in the 80s stemmed from him losing Randy, because Randy was his musical soulmate. He really didn't have that with anybody in Black Sabbath. They were bandmates, but there was no soulmate thing going on.
Yeah, true.
Um, but great album. I think it's an essential heavy metal album.
I completely agree. And on that note, we're going to talk about Black Sabbath. That period of Black Sabbath where Ozzy wasn't there, we had an album like this one, Black
Oh yeah,
Sabbath, The Mob Rules.
yes.
Uh, oh, Dio, Dio, Dio. The second album by Black Sabbath featuring the fabulous Ronnie James Dio on vocals. One of my favorite. male vocalists of all time.
Yeah.
And their first album with Vinny Appice on drums,
Yeah.
uh, accompanying, of course, the original members Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler. Uh, it's one of the more energetic releases of the band. A really dynamic mix, great composition, um, quite similar in style to their previous album, Heaven and Hell. Uh,
Yes.
but Mob Rules, for me, is just better as a whole. Uh,
Right.
every song on this album is great. In particular, Turn Up the Night, Voodoo, uh, The Sign of the Southern Cross, which really highlights Dio's vocals.
Oh,
And
yes.
and of course, the relentless, the mob rules. It's a rocker of a song. So yeah, just a fabulous album of the Dio era, personally.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing how when Ozzy split from them, they both put out Heaven and Hell, uh, Ozzy's first one, A Blizzard of Oz,
Mhm.
1980, then 81, Mob Rules, and Diary of Madman. It was like maybe that was that point that Ozzy didn't needed to go solo.
Plus, he had a lot of music in his head that had to come out, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's good for both clans. You know, the Black
yeah.
Sabbath era is great. The Ozzy Osbourne solo era is also great.
And I'm going to go back to your country
Oh,
and Saga Worlds Apart.
beautiful album.
This was my entry point at, in the exact same year because on MTV you heard On the Loose, and I heard that I was like going, this is how rock music can sound. You know, it's just it 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 was like so energetic and it had a groove to it that's like you you know even if you don't know how to dance, you start moving to it because you listen to it and you know you're just getting into it the and this is the release that has the original cover because
Mhm.
the American cover had something different.
Oh,
And
yeah, with a girl with glasses or something like that.
yeah, yeah, I think they even included um in the thing, but it's like I prefer the original one because it just it explains the you know the they don't have it, but it explains what the how the album is. You know, it's got the guy looking at the map. You know, and so many great songs on here. Saga is to the mainstream world is very underrated, and even to our world, it's underrated because when you think of Canadian rock, you usually tend to go to Rush and Triumph, those two, but you forget about them.
And there is so much more good stuff in
Oh
Canada.
yeah, oh
Uh,
yeah,
progressive rock wise, you can't imagine.
yeah. I mean, and of course, you know, kind of veering off, you know, the a newer band from Canada, that two-piece Crownlands. It's like it's bringing the spirit of Rush, not just one era, but it seems like all eras are all mixed into it.
Mhm.
So, and then they have their own little feel to it. And I can't, their new album's coming out soon.
Mhm. But yeah, about Saga, I have to agree that it was truly the band at their peak. Uh,
Yes.
side one of that album has some of their best song. I saw them in 1984 at the Montreal Forum headlining. Uh, and that's funny. I had backstage pass and I
Oh,
met
wow.
all of the band, but I had no camera with me. Damn.
A, a side note, a side note, Michael Sadler and his son Saren
Hmm.
have a YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and they're going through each of their albums and they're talking about it. And his son is like, they're doing like a reaction thing, but it's a different way of reaction. It's like the actual band member and his son, they're just reacting to it. And I've watched several episodes of it, and it's really cool. I mean, you kind of get into
Hmm.
where they were and headspace. And one thing I noticed with Michael Sadler is, his voice never gave out. He still sounds the. I mean, I've seen shows on YouTube in the like the 2010s, and he sounds like he was in the 80s, and it's like this whatever he's doing. I say to lead vocalists, maybe find out what he's doing and copy that, because if you want your voice to have longevity, I mean, he sounds great.
And I was absolutely privileged that I had the pleasure of organizing three shows with Saga over the years. 2009, they were headlining the Friday show at FMPM, the festival
Oh
that
yeah,
I organized. In 2010, Michael Sadler was back on vocals, and he played for our organization. And in 2011, so two shows in 2 years in a row.
wow.
It was a great opportunity. I met all of the band members, and they were absolute wonderful people. Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff.
Well,
Uh,
just the way on those videos, he sounds very down to earth
hmm,
and very humble about himself, and I like that when they do that, because you could the rock star image. I think people got that carried away in the 70s and 80s.
mhm,
It's like you're a human being, but you have a special talent.
exactly. Well, on this point, I'm down to my very last album. Uh, I'm going to talk about a fantastic album. Uh, Pat Metheny and Lyle May, as Falls Wichita, so Falls Wichita Falls. That's cool. Pat Metheny and Lyle Mays are back together again for Pat's fourth album. Uh, Back in the early 80s, I was listening to some classic jazz, like Miles Davis, Coltrane,
Right,
Funk, and so on. But I wasn't familiar much with the contemporary stuff. There was this radio show on Shom FM on Sunday mornings called Shom Jazz, and they played, contemporary jazz, and they made me discover Pat Metheny and a whole other world of great contemporary jazz. So that's where my love for this album comes from, because I heard it on the radio.
right.
Uh, Wichita is one of my favorite early albums by Pat Metheny. It's ethereal, it's beautiful music. Uh, the epic title track, which is like 20 minutes long, is it really stands out. But as a whole, it's just a perfect album. It features also Nana Vasconcelos on percussions. The harmonies and melodies, along with the usage of the Oberheim synths,
Right.
gave the album a whole new dimension with, a bit of a progressive rock edge at times.
Wow, that's cool.
Mhm.
I only heard of Pat. I've never really dived into it, but it sounds like it's something to check out.
hmm Oh, basically, I have every single album he has ever released. I'm a fan. I'm a deep, heavy duty fan of Pat.
All right. Well, my final one, um, it's sort of a concept album, and it's Styx Paradise Theater.
Yes, sir.
I got this down here. I'm not sure if they had it up there, but down here we had something called Columbia House, where
Yeah,
you get the 8 cassettes for a penny or something like that. So
absolutely.
a,
Absolutely. I was a member.
a friend of mine had this one, and I listened to it, liked how it sounds. So I said, okay, I'm gonna join. I got a penny. I'll get those eight cassettes, not knowing that you were gonna pay. I think what was it, 8.99 for the cassettes? That you were paying like full retail, for the rest of them. And I was like, but it was fun to get that big box, and I got this one. This is one of the first ones I got. I want to say I didn't get it in 81. I think it was maybe 82 or 83. And I'll be honest, at the time, I just listened to their hits because of MTV.
hmm
But recently, in the past year or two, I've actually just sat down and really listened to it, and it has a nice little diversity going on, and it's theatrical, but not theatrical like the next album.
hmm
I mean, this one it still is grounded more in hard rock.
True.
Uh, and I think so. I heard that it's the Paradise Theater is a metaphor for. I think it's a metaphor for America and how how it had its golden age, and then it's in decay. And I think it's if that is the if that's what the metaphor is, I think it works for today's
Oh, yeah.
environment. Um, it's just great. I mean, Dennis DeYoung's vocals, Tommy Shaw's, J.Y. Young's. I mean, I liked his. I wanted to hear more of him because, I mean, I mean, for the more aggressive songs, that's when they utilize him because he's got that gruff
hmm
voice, you know. But then when all of the everybody harmonizes, it's like you got that nice little wall of sound coming at you,
True.
uh, and I think that this for the Dennis DeYoung period was the last great one.
hmm
Uh, Miss Mr. Roboto, it was okay. I mean, it had some good songs, but it didn't. I understand what they were trying to go for, but I think they kind of failed for the most part.
hmm
Um, but Styx is one of my favorite American bands. I
hmm
mean, they did touch at times in with a little bit of progressive rock. They didn't like fully go in like let's say like bands like Kansas. They just barely touched. I mean, in the early days that with the the Hammond organ, just that thick Hammond organ sound that they had. But this one is a good one. I mean, it has an 80s vibe to
hmm
it.
Yeah.
And I think in many ways it was ahead of its time along with the rest of the ones, like Saga and Rush. Those three that I can think of off the top of my head, they were kind of a little bit ahead of their time for things.
Yeah. And that era, along with Styx and Supertramp, uh,
Oh
I
yeah.
I think that Paradise Theater, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was one of the first albums that had the band logo laser etched on the vinyl. It was a nifty
I
effect.
th yeah. I mean,
It was
I got
very
the
cool.
I got the cute little the little box set, the one with the the paper sleeves. It kind of looks like a little mini LP. I like that. I think because that's kind of cool. I mean, it's a nice little gimmick.
Hmm.
It saves space on your shelf. So, it's basically a win-win.
Absolutely. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, we got 10 choices for people out there. If you hadn't listened to any of them, I recommend checking them out. I mean, and if you had and hadn't listened to them in a long time, it's nice to go dust off your vinyl or pull out your CDs
It's
and
always
listen to them.
fun to revisit classic albums.
And if it's new to you, I mean, it's someone told me this once recently. Even if it's an album that's 20 years old and you buy it, it's brand new to you. So it's a new release for you. It may not be released that year, but it's a new release for you. You're enjoying it. So
Absolutely.
if any of
Absolutely.
these 10 um, get you interested in it, I mean, I hate saying it, test test them out on the streaming sites. But if you find that you are enjoying it, um, go and buy the CDs because a lot of these bands, you know, need need you to buy their albums.
True. Absolutely.
So on that note, Robert, I thank you again. I mean,
It's been a
and
pleasure to be in your company, my friend. We had a great time talking about our favorite music.
oh yes, I mean, there's so much more out there. So just don't go by our list.
Mhm.
And I started a trend on my other channel. Put down your five, out there. Put down your five and see if you got something different than what we talked about.
Mhm.
And who knows, maybe you might stump us.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks again, Robert.
Thank you, sir. It's been a
And
pleasure.
yes, and I'll talk with you soon.
All right. Have a great evening.
You too.